7 ways to improve during the lockdown. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of water and let's have a talk about 7 ways you can improve during the 7-day lockdown. Now I know I've been covering the lockdown in Melbourne. It's quite frustrating for a lot of people, and it can be quite a negative mental news cycle. I understand that. So I thought, you know what, let's do something positive. Let's see how you can turn this 7-day forced home vacation or imprisonment into a path to self-betterment or improvement. What are 7 things that you can do during those 7 days to improve yourself? Why not? It couldn't hurt. So I thought, you know what, let's do a video on it and let's talk about it. So number 1, which is number 2 on my slide because I've got an intro, but still, number 1, the first one, and this is obvious, I've been talking about this many times, is improving your diet. You know, the McDonald's doesn't look too attractive in that photograph, and I'm sure a lot of us have eaten it. You know, back in the day, Rachel and I, we had our office in Yeronga. We'd be driving back home and we'd pass a Macca's. We'd be working there. We wouldn't finish until we were late, and we'd just get a family box. And I'd be, have a Big Mac and a cheeseburger as well. And to be honest, a lot of carbs and sugar, which is the big issue here. The biggest problem with this, the 2 issues with McDonald's, is the sugar, and I would argue the seed oil as well, but the sugar is the real big one. And sugar's crept back into my diet, guys. The weight's, snuck back on because the sugar is so effective my body is so effective at storing sugar, probably for those European winters that my ancestors had to live through. Now, improving your diet. Okay, you've got 7 days. What can you do? You'd be surprised. You would be surprised if the one thing you walk away from this video or from this 7-day experience is to ban sugar from your life, and to at least be aware of where it's coming from and how much you're eating and how dangerous it is. That probably could be one of the best things that could ever happen to you. I would suggest have a look at Sugar the Bitter Truth, a video by Ludwig. He's got a lot of talks about it. This one here, this 1.5-hour lecture that we now can have access to, everyone. This is the advantage of the internet. It gives you access to knowledge from all over the world. So when your government health officials are telling you all this garbage, when nutritionists who have pretty much just a TAFE certificate telling you rubbish, you can find information at the source. So I would highly recommend, if improving your diet, cut out the sugar. Look at Ludwig's videos. Watch that. You've got time. Now's the opportunity to do it. Our journey, we started our journey. I covered in a video I did 2 years ago, our keto journey. If you're interested at all in that, just to show you the steps that we went through, going from a standard Australian diet, which is pretty much just a lot of junk food and rubbish, to be honest, to a keto diet, to kind of now carno-ketovore. At the moment, because I have a pregnant wife, sugar's crept back in the form of chocolate into the house. But I've got a way of dealing with that. And I'd recommend you have a look at Low Carb Down Under. All of the lectures and videos that they have there are fantastic. I've got family members who've removed their dependency on insulin. They've changed through their diet. They no longer need insulin, everyone. And one of the other benefits is that reducing your, changing the fact that you're overweight, reducing your weight, because this is what cleaning up your diet will result in, will also reduce your risk of hospitalization if you happen to get this illness that they're locking you all up for. Why aren't they pushing this? Why aren't they advertising healthier diet? But the problem is, you'll have the vegans and the idiots pushing all this fake meat garbage, which is full of seed oil and rubbish and dangerous, and not a real low carbohydrate diet. So I'd see you in that direction. Have a look at Low Carb Down Under. So number 1 is improving your diet. And then what do we have is, hang on, have I done, yes, okay. Now the second suggestion, and those of you that are watching may have noticed why I have my stein of water today and not a stein of coffee. The second one is experience a fast, everyone. Now you'll see intermittent fasting is becoming more popular, where people only have a small feeding window, and that makes a lot of sense from a hunter-gatherer perspective. You would be running around there trying to gather, hunt food. You get the kill, you bring it home, you eat it, or even eat it there. And there'd only be a certain window when you'd eat, and there'd be periods where you wouldn't eat. Our body's adapted to that. We've got subcutaneous fat all over our body to provide heat, and it's a store of energy. And, experience a fast, everyone. Into either intermittent fasting or a real fast. Not some of these religious fasts where they still have bread or water, or when they eat, at night time. It's a joke. It's not a real fast. An actual fast, a water fast, a water-based fast where you have nothing but water and, electrolyte, salt, which is hence why I've got the water. It's been 2 years now, actually, since I've done my last 7-day water fast. And I go through in this video, I measure my bloods, my ketone levels, my glucose level. And, the first 3 days are the hardest. I'd check out the lectures on low carb down under about it, if you want to do it. Drink lots of water, watch your electrolytes, and eat extra salt. And if something goes wrong, just stop. Just stop if you're not feeling okay, if you're feeling lightheaded. If you're taking any medication, or if you're pregnant, don't do it, or talk to a doctor. Don't be stupid about this type of thing. But one of the advantages of it is, next time you see a news report, such and such has been on a hunger strike for so many days, you're not impressed anymore. You come a bit hardened, sadly, or maybe rightly so, to the media trying to manipulate people's emotions, saying that such and such has had to skip a meal when you're going a week without food. I mean, how many people in a first world country actually have gone even that long without food? There's health benefits. You'll get cellular autophagy, where your body will start consuming the defective and aged cells. This is why people are worried that they'll start losing muscle. It's not a problem if you start losing the protein, gets broken down and reused. That is probably old, or maybe even, it's a natural part of fighting cancer too, guys. That's just how your body works. So, hence why I'm on the water. I'm going to give it another shot again, in solidarity with the Victorians, and, to overcome, or to kind of, break the bad habits I've slipped into with the bad eating. So that would be one suggestion. Experience it at least, even if you just do it for a day or 2 days. 3 days, the first 3 days are the hardest, everyone. They are the hardest. After that, you're fine. And you'll notice you'll go into ketosis, and you'll be burning the fat in your body. You'll be living off that. And a lot of us have a lot of fat stores, guys. But again, if you're on medication, you're not normal, then you have to talk to a doctor. You need to get professional help from it if you want to do it, everyone. I'm talking to people like me. I'm a normal middle-aged father who going without a few meals isn't going to be the end of the world. So that's the second suggestion I would put out there on a way to improve yourself. Experience a fast. It also comes from the whole Stoic philosophy, where you induce and go through suffering. So the fear of being confronted with loss, or with going without food, or even sleeping outside, that kind of dissipates. The third suggestion would be to improve your strength. And I'd suggest weights. I've at one point every day I got into the habit of just doing weights every day. Even just a little bit, even with some light dumbbell weights every morning. I've fallen out of the habit. And I've tried to pretend that doing the construction work on the house, it's kind of the same, but it isn't really. When I'm demolishing a concrete pier under the house, I can show I'm lifting it up and down. That's 100 kilos I'm moving. So that is kind of good, but it's not enough. I really need to get back in the habit of doing it daily. Even if it's just, some dumbbells, moving them around a little bit. If you don't have the equipment because you're in lockdown, just start using, doing some push-ups, doing some sit-ups again, doing something, using your own body to get in the habit. Particularly if you're out of practice, guys, because that's the thing that can happen. And training is the most important training that you're going to have. And it's not about just going, gung-ho and going super strong and trying to get, beat personal bests. It's about getting consistency and just getting into the habit. Even, I keep telling my mother, she's in her 70s now, she should even be doing a little bit of dumbbell work every day just to keep her strength. Just the older you get. And it has mental health benefits as well. So, the next one, a spiritual focus. For those of you that are spiritual, if you're a Christian or religious, actually spend the time reading some of the Bible, even just every day. Even if you're not practicing, even if you haven't gone to church, actually just spend some time reading Scripture. Why not? You've got the time now. There's no excuse. Step away from life and devote a little bit of time to it every day. If you're not religious, if you're atheist and you don't believe, I would encourage you to look at some of the philosophies of the past. Learn from the ancients. And you can see, my favorite is Stoicism. And you can see the influence of Stoicism carrying through in Christianity. It's quite clearly there. I'd recommend, if you haven't looked at it, go Marcus Aurelius. You can't go wrong. Spend this time to focus on these type of things. Some other suggestions would be even just looking at meditation or self-hypnosis or just relaxing. Reading a book. Something to step away and to contemplate a little bit more. You've got an opportunity, even a little bit every day. At one point, I was doing self-hypnosis or even meditation, just a few minutes every day, just breathing exercises and completely blocking everything out. Very relaxing. Very relaxing. Problem is, you may fall asleep when you're doing it, if you're like me. Maybe I'm not doing it right. I meditate so well, I start snoring. Now, I would suggest learning a new skill. And what you have here is me welding for the first time ever. Welding a piece of flat plate steel to repair a support on a boat trailer because I had to move a boat up here. Now, sure, if you're in lockdown, you may not be able to do that, understandably, but this is just one example I wanted to give you. I've never welded in my life. I'm a desk jockey, guys. I'm an architect. And I wanted to, that's terrible quality. I learned there, if you put your phone near where you're going to weld, you may get some pits pick on the glass. Anyway, learn a skill. You've got a week. What can you learn in a week? You could maybe make a little computer game, and that's what's going to come into the next thing. This I'd never welded. I didn't have a family member that could show me. I learned it on YouTube. I found a YouTube video on how to stick weld, and so I just practiced. It's a lot of fun, guys. If you haven't welded, it is a lot of fun. I got the machine little welder for like $50 secondhand at a Cashies, and that's one suggestion. What other new skills could you learn? I wouldn't be running around welding professionally now, but at least I know if I need to join two pieces of metal together, I can do it. I was talking to a gentleman yesterday, a financial planner, and he was complaining about can't getting a builder to build a deck, and I jumped in on the conversation because I'm having trouble getting quotes, and everything's so busy at the moment. Everyone's flat out, and he wanted to build a deck at the back, and I said, mate, just do it yourself. He goes, I'm a financial planner. I go, so? On the weekend, to go to Bunnings, it'll be relaxing, it'll be a change of pace. Didn't even contemplate doing it. The other guy, the other dad there, was an engineer. He knew exactly, he was the same mind frame as me. Just build it yourself. I guess it's stepping a bit away, doing something different, learning a new skill. So think about it. What can you do? If you're within 5 kilometers of Cashies, buy a little $50 welding machine and weld some metal together. Why not? Now, the sixth suggestion would be to make something. And, if you've learned a new skill, here I'm showing an example from my Heise Games YouTube channel where I made a little tiny crappy space shooter. And it's based on pixel art from Frederick, Mr. 5. And I'm encouraging the children to create artwork and I'll make little tiny games of it to help improve my skills that I'm learning in making computer games. And it'll encourage them as well, so they get little games that they can play with. And this, only took an hour or so. It doesn't take that long to make something like that, and it's a bit of fun. You've got time. You've got access to the internet, rather than just sitting there, on Facebook or something else. Make something. Make a little platform game, edit a video, learn some graphics arts, and make some images. Why not? There's plenty of free resources out there now that never have existed before. And then the final suggestion, number 7, would be to create habits. And this is a book, How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big, Kind of a Story of My Life by Scott Adams. I'd recommend that you have a look at that book. It's quite a good one. And in that book, Scott suggests looking at focusing on not goals, not setting goals, but on your skills, on your skill stacks, and looking at how you can, what skill stacks you have, what unique combinations of skills you can use to create systems to achieve the goals that you want. Focus on creating systems, on creating habits. And I'm talking about it here on my Heise Games channel, my strategy of becoming a game dev. The goal I had was to become a game dev before I'm 40, at least release a game. And if I failed at that, life happened. Too much happened and I couldn't keep up with it. But one of the habits I have worked on is to constantly, every day, get a YouTube video, get at least one out a day, more if possible. At the moment, I'm trying to get 3 out on HeiseSays and keep one flowing out on the US channel and occasionally on the games and education. Just so, that consistency. And I build the habit of doing it and try and improve what I'm doing, bit by bit. It's a hobby, it's fun, and, grow the channel that way. So in that's one regard how I built a habit, an example. Maybe this 7 days could be the first step in you building this habit, everyone. Building this habit and going, and setting along a path. Turning something that is a negative, which is a government-imposed lockdown, into a positive. So, the 7 ways. The first way is to improve your diet, everyone. And I recommend looking at low carb down under. Number 1, sugar. Get rid of the sugar. It's in everything. If you don't know, if you haven't looked at how much sugar is in everything, or if you're on a healthy diet, you just need to go around the edge of the shopping. You've got your Woolies, you go in here. You probably got your fruit here, your meat counter here, all the cold stuff here, and maybe a toiletry aisle here. But you avoid all of this middle of the shop. You don't need any of that. Everything in a box on a shelf, it's probably full of seed oils, because they've got a longer shelf life, and sugar. They're what you don't want. And particularly all the low-fat stuff. You want animal fat, real fat. The fat that humans evolved from. There's a reason why you see all the vegans have got the terrible skin, and they're all depressed and lethargic all the time. They all complain about it being bloated, because they're eating this stuff that you're not meant to eat. It's kind of an emergency food, everyone. Anyway, look at that. If the one takeaway from this video is that you're going to clean the sugar out of your life in those 7 days, I'd recommend it. Number 2 is experience the fast. Then you can't fall for all the media manipulation. Little Jetty who's got 5 televisions and Xbox and wastes all money on Smoko had to skip a meal once, and the government needs to give her more money. More 2% bloody home loans. Okay. Come on. Improve your strength. Make an effort. This is just me telling myself to do that. I need to get working a jackhammer, that can kind of be counted as strength training, can it? Yeah. Look at your spiritual focus, everyone. If you're a Christian, as an example, actually read the Bible. Give it a shot. It may surprise you. There's so many people who would culturally follow religion and don't actually look at it in any depth or even devote any time to it. If you're an atheist, I'd recommend looking at some of the philosophies of the past. Number 5 is to learn a new skill. Even something small, something tiny. Maybe not welding steel together, maybe a new computer program that you want to learn. I recommend Godot as a free game engine at the moment. But there's another one, Scratch from MIT, that I want to teach the kids, where they can build little characters and move them around. I don't mind them getting screen time so long as it's creative screen time, where they're being a creator, not a consumer, where they're making something. And number 6 is make something. Come out of this with something that you've made. No matter how crap it is, don't worry about it, you've made something. And 7, see this as an opportunity to lay the foundation to create habits that could move forward with you. So there you have it, guys. 7 ways to improve during the 7-day lockdown. What do you reckon? What would you add and suggest? Let me know in the comments down below. And to all the Victorians in lockdown, see it as an opportunity. There always is a positive to everything. Hey, you can still leave your house occasionally. It could be worse. As always, thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one in the comments down below. If you're a fan and enjoy the content I'm creating, there's a few ways you can support us. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us by signing up for SelfWealth or Stake, using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband, buying our merch from HeiseSays, using Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or supporting us via PayPal. Take care, everyone. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.